Hello, my name is David Washington. I work here at Gravity Diagnostics, and this is my story. I just remember watching TV one day, and all these commercials kept coming on for it was a Southwestern school, and they kept just pushing phlebotomy, and it just like it was pulling at me, like it's talking to you, you know. And I just remember that commercial kept coming on back to back to back. So as I started seeing some of the phlebotomists at the Christ Hospital, as I was cleaning whatever, as they were doing their rounds on the floor, I started kind of inquiring about their job and what they do, and you know, how long was school, what do you like about it, what don't you like about it. So the interest was peaking. So finally I decided to do it. You know, I went down to the school, we took care of all the financial issues, the student loans and everything, and I got in. And it was like, here we go. We're on the path to being a phlebotomist. So I'm going to finally be in the medical field. And the good thing about it, by me working at the Christ Hospital and housekeeping on third shift, I went to school in the morning. And so I was a full-time dad. I was a full-time middle school basketball coach. I was a full-time student and worker. And just to throw a little click in there, don't ever say you ain't got time to do it, because I've done it. So I'm proof positive that your life is not that busy or you're not that old that you can't do it. So, but along with that, I ended up going to school. I graduated on the dean's list, all honors, valedictorian. I was the speaker for my graduating class from 2005 up to right now. That's where my phlebotomy starts. Gravity Diagnostics is a toxicology laboratory. They started off in toxicology, doing urine toxicologies. We also started doing COVID testing. Now we're also into drawing blood work also. I am a collector. A collector is pretty much what it means. I collect samples from the Center for Addiction Treatment. Center for Addiction Treatment is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. It is a treatment center for those who have drug and alcohol addictions. They treat with different programs. They have doctors and counselors that provide medication, and they help provide a way out for those who are trapped in the drug and alcohol addiction. The nurses and the assistants on the units, they actually get the samples, but then they bring them to me. I collect them. I put the information in the system. We have a system that we use called Copia, and they have a system called Aura, and I kind of make them communicate with each other. So I upload the doctor's results as they come in. I also am a certified phlebotomist, so I draw blood work also on the patients. The skills are important for my job. You have to, I believe, and I say this in overall healthcare, but you have to have compassion. You gotta care. If you're working with people who are sick or any kind of help, you have to care. So number one, you have to have compassion in your heart. You have to have patience. You have to have good people skills all around. I've had people come in, I'm about to draw their blood. When they find out they have to come see me, they're angry, they're upset, they're scared, they're nervous. They don't understand. I try to explain the step-by-step what I'm doing. When they're sitting down in the chair, sometimes I get cussed out. They're giving me a hard time. I cannot take that personally. I'm not a brick wall. Yes, it hurts. It's irritating, but I try to calm them down. I try to let them know, hey, I know what I'm doing. I'm professional. Just trust me. You have to make them trust you. You have to, because you're part of their treatment, so you have to make them trust you, and that you're professional what you're doing. But pretty much overall, you have to be a people person. That's number one. Opportunities that the medical field has provided for me is financially, it's been a blessing for me. But like I said, also because it opens doors and other opportunities. It never stops, because a lot of the medical field, no matter what you do, even if you worked in housekeeping in a hospital, if you work for that hospital, they have tuition reimbursement. If you want to go to school, they have programs for nursing and just other departments. So the medical field, it opens up a broad spectrum as far as being a doctor, a nurse, a lab technician, a lab tech, whatever you want to do, you can start what you feel is at the bottom and you can make your way all the way to the top. I've seen it happen before. Favorite part of my job is relating with the patients, to have that connection and to see that the struggles that they go through are related with your struggles, and that we're all in this together, and that the job that I do is, I hope this don't sound cliche, is I'm really helping them, and that's in a simple sense of accomplishment for me. I love talking to them and sharing my story and sharing their stories. Not that I had a problem with drugs and alcohol, but that I've had struggles in my life, and to share my story and how I overcame helps them. My home life growing up, we were kind of raised in poverty. My mother worked at the best she could, but we were poor. I mean, sometimes the condition of our homes was so bad. I mean, we had to. Sometimes we didn't have furniture. We had to sleep on the floor. But if you slept on the floor, you had to worry about the rats running across your body. So we used to sleep on the kitchen table, the dining room table, elevated so that the rats would not run across our bodies. So you'd be asleep and they'd run across your feet. We were very poor. Grew up in some very rough neighborhoods. I tried to avoid the danger and the pulls of the streets just to please my mother, because she raised us well. It was rough. I'm going to say now, because that's the term that they're using now, is a lot of the mental anguish. At the time my mother was, when she was married, the physical abuse that she took from her husband, it was bad. There was a lot of mental stress on me, because I did not, as a boy, I did not understand what was going on with all the turmoil in my life, and you just couldn't understand that. To hear my mother crying, it was hard. It was hard as a young man, and I just didn't know what was going on. And you carry those things today, even as a grown man. I still carry that weight on me. Somebody told me a long time ago that the sea is made up of salty water, and there are fish in the sea. But whenever you eat a fish, it's never salty, because they learn, or whatever's in them cannot let that outside circumstance get absorbed in them. And as I looked at the neighborhood that I grew up in and seen the guys that hung on a corner and just the lives they were living, in my mind, I had to determine in my mind, I don't want to be like this. It has to be something better outside of the block that I lived on. It had to be something better around the corner, up the street, in the next neighborhood, in the next city. It had to be something better. I don't have to grow up and be on the streets. I don't have to grow up and be a gangbanger. I can be something better. If I don't do it for nobody, if I don't do it for my mother, my sisters, my whatever, I have to do it for myself, because I'm determined in my life I was not going to be stuck in that situation. I'm scared of failure. I didn't want to be another statistic. I didn't want to be another stereotype. I worked hard. I worked hard. I worked very hard. It was days I didn't want to get up. It was days I didn't want to go to work. It was days I didn't want to go to school. You might have family issues or just whatever, but I had to tell myself I can't fail. So the fear of failure and to give over to failure was pretty much the biggest push that I needed. Thank you again for listening to my story. If you have any questions, please contact your teacher. Thank you.